Hello and welcome to Catholic Scandinavia on EWTN. In this series, we're travelling across the stunning Scandinavian countries of Norway, Sweden and Denmark in Northern Europe, bringing you the beauty of the countries and the Catholic faith here. Coming up in this fifth and final episode, we bring you to an amazing parish in Sweden which has become home to refugees from Iraq, and we hear the bishop's incredible story of courage and conviction.
He told me, don't look back, and don't look. If you look back, we will actually kill you. So go.
In Denmark, we visit a cafe which brings the elderly in the community together to help them stay active and stay connected.
I'm already 67, I'm still look young. I am inside.
We visit a parish in Gothenburg, Sweden, where we meet its pastor to hear about what he holds dearest.
In my particular case, there was no way I could be sure not to waste my life unless I gave it wholeheartedly to God.
And in Stockholm, music to your ears, we meet the choir director with a passion for her music and her faith.
Because he gave me this gift, and then I can give it back to him and say, that's what you gave me. Here it is for you.
This is Catholic Scandinavia on EWTN. We're starting in Sweden, where Bishop Saj Sirapana is the leader of the Chaldean youth group and brings these young people together, helping them to stay true in their faith.
Very important apostles for us as Chaldeans. St. Thomas, who was the one who evangelized Iraq.
These young people are all Chaldean Catholics, an ethno-religious community that hails from northern Iraq.
Church is your church Chaldean.
Sweden is not a very religious country, and openly expressing your faith is uncommon. But here at the Chaldean Youth Group, they create a space where Catholics can come together, surrounded by people just like them, to discuss their faith. These young people all have the opportunity to pursue a great education. Just like Andreas, who is completing his master's degree in mechanical engineering.
The more I read into science and the physics, the more I believe in my faith. I don't know everything, so how could we know that there is not a God?
Today is their weekly meetup where they share their experiences and challenges with one another.
We talk about spiritual things, how hard is it to be Chaldean, to be Catholic, to be an Iraqi here.
Nama is an active member, and like everyone else in this group, she fled Iraq during the war.
I was in high school in Iraq, and it was like they started killing everyone around us. They started kidnapping girls for money.
Her family first fled to Syria and then to Sweden, where they've been living for 11 years.
I miss the house that I was born and raised in, and I miss my cousins, and I miss my life there. It's really hard not to see them.
Ivan was born in Turkey while his parents were fleeing Iraq. He grew up in the Catholic faith and was a leader in his local Catholic youth group.
I'm always doing things in the church to keep me alive in the church and try to live the church life. With the youth group, we meet every Friday, and we always see the bishop in the church. He always come to the people and talk with us and be with us. I feel like he wants to be with the people always, as much as he can.
I was born in 1972 in Baghdad from a Catholic family. It was a very simple life, very quiet, peaceful.
Bishop Saj Sirapana has a fascinating story himself and can relate to these young people in a unique way. In 2006, he was a parish priest in the southwest of Baghdad, where tensions were rising and Christians were considered as siding with the American invaders.
I insisted to remain with the people. I thought of leaving. So many good people, also good friends actually. Even my bishop sometimes told me, if you want to leave, then you can leave. You can go and come to the area, not staying there. But I said, and with some other my brothers in the priesthood, actually, we insisted to remain because there were Christians there, actually. So we insisted to remain with them, and I wanted to keep to remain with my people, with my parish.
Bishop Hannah couldn't walk away from his parish in their time of need, but on one occasion, things took a turn for the worse.
I finished my Mass. We had a very small celebration after the Mass. Then going to the seminary, we had a seminary there, so going to the seminary where I used to live, actually, and they stopped me 100 meters from the church.
Bishop Hannah was kidnapped by a group associated with Al-Qaeda. This came as a huge shock because he had strong relations with the Islamic community, and a priest had never before been kidnapped in Iraq.
I was very good with the people, even with the Muslim in the area. The Muslims actually used to come to the church. We used to help them when we can, actually. There were so many poor people at that time, even from Christians, from Muslims. So we used to do charity for all these people. So I had a very good reputation in the area.
Bishop Hannah was held captive for 28 days and accused of colluding with the Americans. His captors repeatedly told him as they beat him with the butt of a gun, "You will be a Muslim." He resolutely refused to betray his beliefs and was assaulted numerous times for this.
They wanted, in my opinion, to hit the core of the Christian community in that area, because I was the only parish actually opened until there were 4 parishes in that area. 3 of them, they were closed actually, and the priest left the churches. So I think they wanted to hit the Christian community in that. At that time, I asked God, why me? I was a good priest. Why is this happening to me?
It tested his faith, but he kept praying and remembering that God was with him.
I read the Quran. I know so many of it, actually. So I used to defend also my faith, explaining to them what's the meaning of these verses when they speak about Jesus, about Isa, about Maryam, about Jesus as the Word of God and the Spirit of God. So that was, I think, a way to tell them that I felt that God is with me, that He is speaking in me.
After 28 days in captivity, Bishop Hannah was told he was going to at last be released.
I said, no, I don't believe you. I think that you're going to kill me. He said, no. The head of that group actually said, no, we're going to finish you.
They put him in a car and drove for an hour before taking him out of the car and removing his blindfold.
Began to see a little bit in front of me, and he told me, don't look back, and don't look. If you look back, we will actually kill you. So go.
Frightened to look back, he kept running for the highway.
I was afraid. I had so many different mixed feelings, actually, between anger and fear, but also maybe some hatred.
But he remembered the Lord's teaching that good people do not hate, and so he refused to hate his captors. Today, Bishop Hannah is focused on reconciliation and calls on the whole world to protect Eastern Christians who are exposed to the worst forms of persecution. He was appointed as apostolic visitor for Chaldeans residing in Europe, and now he serves this vibrant community, the first Chaldean Catholic Church in Sweden.
I'm trying to revive the community here, to collect all the Chaldean families again and try to serve them, try to give them a reason actually to feel that they are one church, one people.
He's really trying to learn and get involved with the youth people that only speak Swedish. So he's really trying, and that passion that he has is a really strong thing that I really like about him.
Led by the bishop, these young people put their faith into action by volunteering to help people with Down syndrome who gather here in the parish hall at the church. Together they talk, laugh and dance.
think that love is the most important thing in life. That's what the church teaches us. So it's always the heart of the life. Every act or everything you do, you think about love, everything will be good.
I think the Catholic Church has been good to the Chaldean Church. They trust in us, in the Chaldean people and the Chaldean Church. We're a big part of the Catholic Church in Sweden.
We all living a normal life, but we have a faith, so we encourage each other to live that faith.
It reminds me of like my values and the important things in my life.
Well, I am proud of you, really. I'm proud that these young people, these Chaldean youth people, and thank you. Thank you for everything you do here. Yeah.
You're watching Catholic Scandinavia on EWTN. And we're in Copenhagen, Denmark next at the Caritas Elders Cafe. This is a community centre set up by Jennifer Stilling, where every Wednesday, Jennifer and the other volunteers welcome the older people of the community.
They can eat here and they can talk to each other, get in touch like a bonding.
Along with her husband, Jennifer travelled all over the world. And it was on these travels that she observed many older people who were alone with no sense of community.
Some of them, they don't get out of their apartments. They just stay there and do nothing. They don't have the capacity, or maybe people don't ask them to get out. And I asked them to get out because I invited them here. So they can get out, and then I made a group of officers and volunteers. So I asked them to pick them up on the way to the Elders Cafe.
The Caritas Elders Cafe welcomes all elders, men and women of all faiths, and sees about 20 to 30 guests on a regular day. The volunteers take extra care to welcome new people and learn about their lives.
Most of the people coming in here belongs to the Catholic Church, and they do understand. And actually, it was also them who are inviting other old people whom they knew they cannot get out and join other social activities.
Jennifer grew up in the Catholic faith and was a student leader in the church. Having previously studied chemical engineering in the Philippines, she came to Denmark to continue her education. And now Jennifer is working towards the expansion of the Elders Cafe and is hoping that they can continue to reach more elderly people.
Now we are given a chance to open also on Fridays because I cannot take them, all of them, on a Wednesday. So we have another day that is a Friday evening. I feel very happy. I feel very relaxed, and I think I want to continue this kind of jobs. I am happy to take care of them.
Next, we're in the city of Gothenburg in Sweden.
It's the second city of our country, the largest harbour. It has always been very much coloured by the harbour and people working in the dockyards and shipyards and in shipping and obviously in trade.
Father Tobias Unerstall is the pastor of Christ the King parish in Gothenburg. The parish was founded in 1862, despite the fact there were not many Catholics in the area after the Reformation.
I think he found about a couple of hundred Catholics in the area or something like that. Nevertheless, despite the low number, within 8 years of founding, or 6 years of founding the parish, they actually built a little church. Unfortunately, it was built in the old parts of Gothenburg, which is all rather like Amsterdam on the water. So already in 1928, they decided the church was getting dangerously hammered by time, and decided to buy a new plot of land in the outskirts or outside the town, and on it build modern facilities, and that's where we are now.
When Father Tobias was younger, he never thought of being a priest. He had his sights set on the glamorous world of diplomacy.
My longing was to become a diplomat. I wanted to fly around the world, go to posh parties, cocktails and all, smoking cigars. I never smoked a cigar in my life. But that didn't help. The more I thought about it, the more I understood that my desire to go that direction in my life was very superficial and wouldn't leave me satisfied. And I wrestled a lot with this over the years, or well, a couple of years anyway, and I came to the conclusion that in my particular case, there was no way I could be sure not to waste my life unless I gave it wholeheartedly to God.
When Father Tobias became a priest, he had many different ideas of what he wanted to do and was surprised when he was sent to this parish.
I must admit I was surprised to be appointed to this position. I had 2 or 3 other ideas, and for each of those ideas I had a vision what I wanted to do. And then the bishop asked me to go here, and I had no idea what I should do here. But I put the two most important things for any priest is to celebrate the sacraments, above all the sacrifice of the Mass, hear confessions. Those are the 2 most important I find. That's also on a daily basis. And the second, to teach the faith. I remember when Bishop Brandenburg, our present bishop's predecessor, he's now deceased, he said to me just before ordination, "You must be very happy now having reached your goal." And I said, "Your Excellency, my goal is not to be ordained. My goal is that when I die one day, they will say he was a good priest." And you can only be that if at least you've been part of saving one soul at least, since every soul is infinitely worth. That's how I felt then, and I feel the same now. Each soul has an infinite value, and we need to work for that salvation, including our own. Don't forget that. We often forget our own soul. Our parish is a privilege with many young people, many young adults, and they want to give, they want to do something. And rather than being in campus ministry, they're actually in the parish ministry, and that's a great joy.
Nicholas Fredestad works as a school psychologist and is one of the young members of the parish.
Sometimes you are tempted to run away from your faith, of course, and which has been the case for me too. But at the same time, when you experience for some time the life, the secular life, and you live that in a way, you see that it's not so meaningful. I mean, it's quite empty, and you can feel that. You also, from your friends who are not Catholics, who are not believing, you have this. You can sense that there is something missing in their lives.
Nicholas leads a prayer group for young adults here in the parish, which he feels is important for young Catholics to be there for one another.
Well, they feel that they're not alone, like they're not alone in this country. Our main idea, main theme of our organization is that we pray for the conversion of Sweden.
Core to the young adult prayer group is the promotion of the liturgy and the beauty of the Mass, giving young men the opportunity to serve Mass in the traditional form.
Something very important in the Legion of St Eric is, of course, the liturgy and the beauty of the Mass. Usually we have the traditional Latin Mass on our activities, sometimes also the new one, so it's but usually that, and I've seen from my experience that it's something that speaks to the young in a special way. Well, unique challenges with being a Catholic in Sweden is probably that the people who are not believing, which is the majority, they don't know so much about the faith. They don't know the basics of Christianity. Sometimes they know more about Islam than they know about Christianity. you feel sometimes that you live together, but you come from different worlds somehow.
I hope that the church, the Catholic Church in my country, in Sweden, will find the courage to really be church fully, which means to be missionary as well, which means that there is no reason why not every single person in Sweden becomes a Catholic eventually, that the entire country finds God and His church through the sacraments and the teaching of the church.
Sweden has many choirs, but this is one of the most beautiful. It's a youth choir at St Erik's Cathedral in Stockholm, and it's directed by Elisabeth von Wallstein. She is a teacher from Austria who came to Sweden after a plea from Pope John Paul II.
And I studied actually piano and cello, but then I came to Sweden. I am also a member of Opus Dei, and John Paul II asked at the time that it should start here in the northern countries. So I thought, well, somebody needs to come here, so I offered myself to come here. And so when I got here, I got the job as a choir, actually first as a cantor here in the church, and then choir leader.
The young people in this choir are a minority, as here in Sweden, Catholics make up just 1% of the population. Most of the country has no religion, so being part of a choir like this with other young people helps them stay strong in their faith.
And they usually are in school class the only Catholic, and they're the weird one. So they really need contexts where they feel like, here we can breathe, here we're not the weird ones, here we are the normal ones, here we have a kind of community with the others, here we kind of feel relaxed and feel at home.
And not only does it reaffirm to the young people that they are not alone in their faith, but singing these songs of praise helps them deepen their faith.
And people, the assembly often comments that when they sing, it really touches their hearts, because they sing from their hearts. And they really know what they're singing about. And it's also really like a school of faith for them, because when you explain those texts, I tell them what it means, we talk about it, and I explain it to them, and it's really, it gets very, very, very intense. And even when they stand in front of me, and I contact them, because you get a kind of contact that is very special, I notice there is something, they're really praying, and it moves me very, very, very much also.
And when the choir is not performing at special concerts and recitals, they're singing at Mass with Elisabeth on the organ.
The sound of a choir is something that always impresses me, because I always think singing is the only instrument that is made by God Himself, and that God made us with different voices to be able to sing in harmony. I mean, that's so incredible. This is the creation of God somehow, and He implanted in us the possibility to sing, to praise Him by that, by our own body. But I think beauty is such a great reflection of God Himself, because it has no other explanation. For me, that I can give him back the gift he gave me. Because he gave me this gift, and then I can give it back to him and say, that's what you gave me. Here it is for you. That's what it means for me.
That's it for this series of Catholic Scandinavia on EWTN. We have travelled across Norway, Sweden and Denmark, shining a light on the people who make up the Catholic Church in this region and the history and beauty of the faith here. We hope you enjoyed travelling with us, and until next time, thank you for watching and God bless.